I think the maps are going to be really good because I think they're going to be very close because both teams can play on a pretty even level on all three maps. And
that's good then.
Let's see. We have the pistol round, of course, and the aggression coming in from Mousesports. A risky play putting forward to B, but they're going for an aggressive A retake, and they have walked into what looks like it wants to be a rush, but it can't quite yet be a rush. James, what is it?
Well, it's kind of it's not a rush. They've moved away. It's a reverse rush. It's an inverse rush. 4 CTs. Well, this is interesting. 4 CTs on the B bomb site now, and they are all out of position. But that might not be the read from FaZe. As you can see, they've got Rain in a super strong position here, but Jacob's gone all the way back to T-spawn to try and watch out for a flank. But surely they should just push the site down because they've got mid in from 2 directions. Now they're all split up 1v1. Go, go. Where is the CT? Look, there he is. It's Nico. And now the bomb is crossing to the site. Just about going to make it. Going for the Brave punt. I saw this fail earlier, actually, from somebody else, but there were too many players. But here we go. The CT's coming in for the retake now. Jacob has been on that lurk, and now he finds himself in mid. Christian having a look in the back, but not finding that. Yeah.
We'll have a pretty good, sizable push coming in from the CTs now, all from the car in the short area. And there's a flank from Jacob. This is basically the play right now, because AZ is going to die. There he is. On the floor, dead, and now JKM will be 1 versus 3. Can't get it done, and FaZe, they at least get they secure a bomb plant, which is it's not nearly as bad as losing without the plant, and then you're forced to a force buy. Then if that doesn't go well, you got a full eco. Then life just gets very difficult, and you give free economy to the CTs. But it's okay. Like they just have 1 eco, then they get the AKs out. I don't think FaZe is the kind of team that has around for this situation. Some teams do. They adapt one of their set pieces and just go with the Tech 9s and grenades. But FaZe is one of the teams where they don't want to like pressure as much as enable themselves to play their own game. So we'll see those AKs on round 3. But when you have a deagle in the hands of someone like Rain, it's always fun to watch. Unless he dies, which it looks like he might.
Yeah, I think it's clear that there's no plan from FaZe from the fact that they are spread out almost 1-to-1-to-1 across the entire, from top to bottom. Now we're seeing a bit of a convergence towards B. But it seems they're just fishing at the moment, but there are no fish in the pond, as the fish are far away in the sea. Using the distance they have afforded to them. So FaZe's advantages are minimized. Obviously, they were already by the by. But the further away you can be from these Tech 9s and P250s, the better.
Well, they've actually got some forward positions towards checkers. That's actually quite dangerous for Mousesports, because they'll actually be able to get some shots. And look at Jacob there, almost getting an angle himself. He could be in some trouble here if he gets faced correctly by the T's, and they're going to be getting closer and closer now. As is he going to survive? No, okay, he will go down eventually. So there's 2 kills for almost, well, very limited investment. I think FaZe are happy with that. Now comes the AKs, and I always love it when the T side goes for a mid take, delayed or otherwise, in a round like this, because you're usually going to be up against, well, you know that you won't be up against Norb, and you know you're going to be up against at least 1 or 2 FAMAS, which makes the AKs all that much better in those mid engagements.
We'll see what they choose to do. Quite lacking on grenades, FaZe, after 2 unsuccessful rounds. Just a few grenades and 3 flashbangs. So again, in terms of execution, they will be a bit light. So we'll see if they go for that delayed take. That would be a good option with what they have available. To do it in various ways.
Yeah, they're just sitting on their default right now and just killing time that way. So it does suggest that, to me at least, that like a delayed mid take is probably on the cards. It's usually the most common variation you see from teams on the T side, who start with a delayed round. Or a default rather. And at least AZ is going to be poking his head over to see what's going on. You can see the CTs with no information. They've actually abandoned mid completely. So right now mid is for free. If they were to try to take mid, it's free. I mean, it should cost you something as a tease to take middle, whether it's grenades, or I guess it's cost them time in one sense. But that's the only cost.
Yeah, but it seems Mousesports are more concerned with the potential human cost to themselves. Although FaZe have 40 seconds left, they've got the Kiyashima lurking towards B. The bomb is over towards A at the moment, but the B split is still possible. And indeed, the bomb does indeed twice.
It's quite
cool.
It's
going back and forward, actually. It's a bit unclear as to where it's going.
Yeah, it's quite cool, like how passive Mousesports are. It's a very good way to play against aim stars when they're looking for the aim engagements, but they can't find them. But all of a sudden, 2 people die as Mousesports defend short. That's head of the Hydra is cut off. All the heads are being cut off right now as it's just JKM and Fox left in the bomb site, but they've managed to return the frags on the site itself. So that small little distraction put in towards B actually works out very well because this creates a bit of delay for the B players, allowing time for the plants and the after plant positions.
So no players on the site, which will be a big concern for Mousesports, and main will be another one. But it's Squeaky and this position here on the balcony that will be where FaZe are holding. Difficult plant for the CTs to deal with. And there goes one, taken down immediately. So Chris J left, he's got full health, but 2 people to face. He has got a kill actually, but he has to go for the hero hold here, and surely Fox punish him for it. Indeed he will. I forgot about the tentacles there. The diffuse tentacles.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think most people have. But it's the nature of the beast, isn't it? A change comes in, you're like, oh my god, this is the worst thing ever, I can't believe this. I'm not saying it's good, it still looks a bit odd to me. It bouncing there in the wind.
It makes a lot of sense because it's not very intuitive for the viewer, I suppose, when the guy's just standing there, and if you haven't heard the sound, he's just standing there in front of a bomb, and it's like, is he doing something? Just looking at the floor right now.
He's doing some Yuri Geller, he's bending the spoons in the bomb.
Yeah, absolutely. They can get out more grenades. That's quite a funny one right there, and we'll have to see how that plays out. But it's very likely that if they have such a cognizance that, okay guys, we need to have grenades, then you will expect a set piece from them, because otherwise we would have seen AKs if they're going to play picks, if they're going to play more of a default. We would have seen AKs. So it does look like they'll be going. Then you will expect a set piece from them, because otherwise we would have seen AKs if they're going to play picks, if they're going to play more of a default. We would have seen AKs. So it does look like they'll be going for that A take. And this is quite nice because, again, it's kind of more of an anti-force kind of strategy to kind of get the nades in there like this. So this will be quite fun to see how they pull this one off.
AZ's lining himself up to throw a smoke onto quad. There's an arrow on the box, and he will point his crosshair at the top of the arrow. And that will deploy said smoke. But who's going to get the push? Oh, Nico just not going to wait for them. Taking the initial steps there and getting himself a nice upgrade in gun, the UMP to an AK. Nice. Oh, sorry, he's still on the UMP. Well, here we go. The push coming in. Dennis avoiding the flashbangs. And this is a problem now. FaZe, they smoke quad, but how are they going to get past their own smoke? 2K for Dennis, so it seems a bit disorganized there from FaZe. Rain last man standing versus 3. It's all fallen apart. So the push from Nico into Squeaky took AZ out of the game. I don't know what his role was in the rest of the push. Again, when the T's put that smoke down on quad, it often becomes, it's a bit friend, it's a bit foe. You've got to get those pop flashes in. But if there's one collision with your flash, then the CT is always looking away there. So it's really hard to get that flash in. Envy has become quite good at doing it, actually. It was always much worse in North America. They'd run through the smoke and get wrecked. But there we go. FaZe back to a force buy now. The Tech 9's the full armor coming out. Going for the meaty one.
We're already seeing more structure out of FaZe, to be honest, which perhaps could be why some of their results have been better. And this force buy not going so well. Again, Nico picking up a triple with the UMP. Nico is making bank. He's not the player you want to be giving money, and it's not much that they can really do about it at this point. Nico just sitting there by the forklift. JKM stuck in the door. And, I mean, Nico is probably quite thankful that the last round, the player that he killed in the door was one of the 2 UMP players for the FaZe side, meaning that he just makes more money. So,
Kizash.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. I wonder if we will see Nico going to an AWP. I'm quite curious because this is a map where they could pull out 2 AWPs, but Nico, can he get the 4th kill? Yeah, there you go. That's a lot of cash in the bank for Mr. Nico. Let's have a look. Oh, 11 kills, 9,400 on round 6. Not bad, not bad. He can drop for his team. He can keep the UMP. He knows it's going to be pistols, like a full save now. So Nico could be making even more money. James, this is sick.
Well, let's have a look at what FaZe can do, or if their Rico will be like their second round. They'll have perhaps a general plan to go to one of the two websites, one of the 2 bomb sites. But what will it be further than that? Again, Mousesports playing well in the fact that they're not going to push to the other side of mid. They are on top of the economy for the international side. Here we go. FaZe moving much faster into mid, which has already been abandoned by the CTs, but they're holding on to the bomb sites, which is all important. 2 people on B as the push comes in. Bomb spotted in the vents now, so that should be a full rotation coming in.
Yeah, pretty easy so far. I mean, it's not much to really worry about. And easy 5th round for Mousesports. Now, FaZe had some success with that super slow round where they played their default. They were really passive on middle, and they got a player into middle for free. Actually, got 2 players into mid for free. Now, I wonder if Mousesports will play really, really passively again, or if, because they have quite a bit of cash now, whether they'll play more of an aggressive setup just to keep FaZe on their toes a little bit. So if FaZe try to do a play like they did on their last default, they'll get punished, I think, if they try to go middle with such a small commitment. So let's have a look. We do have one guy who's kind of done the run on mid for Mousesports. He's in the vents though, so he's kind of part of the B defense really. He's not really dedicated towards mid, but there is a player on the connector and a player on short as well, so it's hard to say whether Mousesports will give this up easily just yet.
We might see an engagement towards Squeaky. Nico searching, ever aggressive. And Jacob is headed that way very slowly, but Nico's gone back to the site now. He's playing the timing game. Speaking of timing, Kishima may have chosen good timing as he's made his way into mid. And it seems that the CTs might be completely unaware. You can see Nico caught out of position there. Rangers take down the player towards B. So there's so much going on. I don't know how the CTs are going to make the right call here. The bomb's left into warehouse, so they will have no idea what the correct play is in terms of rotations. They've lost B now. They've got a player in mid. That's Spiddy. And you can see the bomb is rotating over towards the B bomb site. Spiddy should hear him running through to warehouse from his position. So he can make the call to his teammates that it's probably B dudes.
Look at Rain. He knows that the CTs will have that info as well. I mean, he was convinced that somebody would peek him. Surely Spiddy heard stepping there, but the call is...
I know for a fact you can hear people running there.
Yeah, I mean,
but
the
why
rotation,
no rotation?
Maybe Rain was just not talking or something. You can only assume that there was no information. Or maybe he only heard one set of footsteps.
I know, but a one-man fake in this situation is very unlikely.
Yeah, I agree.
So AZ alone now on the site. He knows where Nico is, but where is Spiddy? That's the question. He is looking for where the trade fragger might be. He knows the CTs will try and set themselves up for a trade frag. Molotov coming down, but he still can't find Nico now. He knows he was in checkers. And there he is, finally taking him down. Nico, so many frags on the board so far. An important round for FaZe, only the second so far.
Yeah, and this is cool because FaZe are a team where they actually, pound for pound, might have... It's hard to say, how the skill weighs up because obviously on Mousesports you've got Nico, Nex, and Chris J. And when they're already on form, then they look absolutely phenomenal. Spiddy and Dennis can also look phenomenal, somewhat in the shadows of those kind of 3 main players. But so it's like Kyoshima getting a timing pick, just running straight from spawn into T warehouse and then popping one of the players on mid. Dennis, in fact, this time around. But yeah, so Mousesports are going to need everyone to be firing on all cylinders here to actually keep hold of this lead, I think. Nico, is he going to do it? He's going in. He's going into the main area right now, and AZ, is he going to be wise to this? Oh, it's the classic. Oh, the spray comes in, but Nico's only going to get 1. But that's going to be a 3 versus 3 because Fox picks up the kill as well. So the bomb site A is going to be under attack very shortly. And look at the rotation. This is massive. Going to go all the way from B here. However, Nex is able to make the first frag, so that's definitely going to help. There's Nex just keeping the pressure up right now. Very important bit of tagging there through the smoke. And now the bomb it's hard to get it down right now. There's a lot of pressure on these 2 players. Nex is going to make it even worse for Fox. That bomb is never going down at this rate. 50 seconds to go at the very least, but how the hell will Fox find his way out of this position?
It seems they're not sure exactly where he is. So they don't seem to realize that he could be on the site.
I think they're just waiting for him to plant. And then they'll move.
But Spiddy was looking into mid. Well, they know where he is now. Oh, that nade is money. 33 HP left. And it's going to be hard for him not to get traded here. Indeed, Spiddy coming out just when required. And down he goes. So FaZe have won a round and they've lost a round, which means their money's been reset, which means poverty is rolling through the FaZe camp. They will be unable to buy as they might have liked, which is a great opportunity for Mousesports to keep rolling with the CT side. And their money has gone down a little bit from the previous rounds. Well, a lot actually, considering what's left after this purchase. You can see Nico is looking to build his bank again with the UMP, looking for those higher kill bonuses than on the rifle. So this is looking like a difficult T half so far for FaZe on a map where perhaps T has become more favoured to CT.
Yep. And right now, Mousesports making it still look a little bit CT-sided with their nice defenses on the A and the B bomb sites respectively. And it's pretty simple cleanup so far. Although losing one player is a little bit annoying in a round like this, but shouldn't lose anyone else. AZ stuck in A main with nothing but a Glock. So what are you going to do, AZ? What are you going to do?
I respect the fact that he is trying to do something. Is he going to try and... I thought maybe he's going to try and get onto the boost, but no, he's waiting for a push on the CT to try and get whatever he can out of it. So I do respect that. I think some people will be like, just run out, and die. But he's trying to get any edge he can.
Yeah, but this is the thing as well. It's like if you're playing against a good team, obviously, in theory, he should like almost run down the clock there in case somebody gets impatient. But against a good team, they should never push there. And you might only be frustrating your teammates to an extent who is sitting there waiting for you, knowing that you're going to die, basically, because you're playing against a team that will not push you, which is what he's looking for. But in matchmaking, it's glorious, James, because people will push you, and you're good.
Absolutely,
it's going to be great.
Yeah.
Got a fast mid take. Looks like they want a fast B split, but FaZe, the split is, it might not be so much of a split right now as they'll lose mid immediately, and almost give the hands away a little bit.
Look at the rotation from the CTs as well. They've completely abandoned, well, almost completely abandoned mid, but with Dennis is in a good position to flank these players pushing B. So great adjustment from the CTs, showing the presence over towards mid, immediately moving it towards B. Having a read that FaZe would go for a fast play because of the numbers in mid, and it's worked out for the CT so far. They've lost the site, but they've got the man advantage. FaZe with AZ near to checkers. So many places for him to cover. It's going to get more difficult as the time ticks down. All three CTs coming in from the top though. He should be going for the reload facing. Nico taking him down. After 1 versus 2, the trades come in, and Mousesports get that clean retake.
It's almost surprising a little bit that they were able to even get the bomb down. If you consider how quickly the B play was telegraphed, we had the quick smokes into mid and kind of the sprint towards the vent. That player died. The second player wanted to go in that direction, couldn't do that due to that, and then I think there was a really good read from Mousesports. Mousesports have this weird thing sometimes where they either there's some spots where Mousesports try to play it so safe. Actually, this is not necessarily applicable right now, but it reminds me of some of their past tendencies where they try to play certain rounds so safe that they end up playing them wrong in some situations. That's one tendency that they have, and we'll see if they can hold on to the lead. So far, they're doing a really good job. I'd say FaZe probably should have a stronger CT side on this map than T side. That was always a classic thing with them, but against Mousesports, it remains to be seen. And this buy is not really going so well for FaZe. They're trying to get a little bit here and a little bit there, but they're getting a whole lot of nothing everywhere, James.
They're getting hot leads then. They're getting that. Well, 2 left. Again, Jacob is lining up for that quad smoke. But then how are they going to plant the bomb? There's only 2 of them left. Jacob's the only man with a flashbang. So I'm curious to see how they can make that work in their favor. It might help him get out of the door, at least. Indeed, he will do that. He will do that. But now he's got to try and force his way through the smoke. There's no CT there. But you can see the problems with their limited utility. So Jacob's last man standing now. The bomb's down. He's got a minute on the clock. And again, he will be banking on wasting a bit of time. And the CTs may be thinking that he's not on site, but they had a good read of it. And we're always going to check it. Nico straight in the head.
Yeah, it's looking great for Mousesports. I was feeling like FaZe would be able to have a strong chance in this series, but right now Mousesports are looking great. But of course, it is just one side, and it's a game of 2 halves, James. Although I don't think you can really use that, because obviously that comes from football, and it's both halves are equal in football, so you can't really use that. But yeah.
Well, you can, but it's applied in a different fashion.
Yeah.
So I think you can still use it.
It is definitely against
I said that once before, and was I think he called me Madden or Counter-Strike when I said that, which was awesome.
Yeah.
So how are FaZe going to change things up here? They are, there we go, the wall of smoke's coming into the mid area. I think we had a Molotov from the T's as well to force any CTs out. but nobody holding the angle towards B.
Yeah, rotation's fasted from the CTs. And the push is unleashed onto the B site, but Mousesports, because there was no distraction anywhere else on the map, everyone is here stood to attention pretty much, and they know what is happening, and they're all grouping up, rallying together for this. Chris able to make the first frag happen with the AWP, making a 4 versus 3 in favor of CTs. The bomb still needs to go down. It's down on the site right now, and there's a player coming into the vents here for Mousesports, and he might be able to cause some amount of damage. That one-on-one there is going to be very important in checkers. If Nico can get out of here, that should be the round over. Oh, AZ got to be so careful on the timing. Timing's such a big deal, and now AZ's getting that standing, gets the spray, doesn't take too much damage. Might have a chance in the hold right now. I think the plan is good for him. It is indeed, but oh no, it's not. But he's going to die anyway. So the problem there is just the fact that FaZe just went for a straight up B split. And the one thing that you would like to see more from FaZe, the one thing that's been really lacking from their T side so far, is mid takes. Just generally speaking, just taking mid and holding mid. If you're able to do maybe not an instantaneous mid take, but so just a tiny bit of delay, so you avoid the initial counter grenades. Then you take mid, then the CTs have to be guessing all the time. You can go B, maybe get one guy like Get Right does, try to pressure into checkers, get one guy pressuring into door on the other side of the map. Just get a bit of pressure all over the place, so they don't know, so they can't rotate immediately like last round. And otherwise, just giving your advantages away. And bit of a mid take here, James, but only 2 players.
Yeah, another wall. Do they have a Molotov for the sandbags area? You can see Nex is there. I think I heard a Molotov, but I don't know if it landed in the right place. But FaZe, Rain with the 180 to take him down, gets traded by Dennis in Z Connector. And FaZe are going for a fast play towards the A bomb site, but it's not working out. Chris J to take down AZ, leaving Kiyashima alone to clutch. We saw clutches from him on land for FaZe already, but can he do it here? Nice flash, taking away both players, but he's only seen one. Bomb is on the floor, on the site. So it's still doable here for Kiyashima. Speedy spots him, knows where he is now, and that will allow the CTs to move in. Going to the fake, and it's paying off straight into the face of Speedy, leaving Chris J and Kiyashima alone. Or did they both spot each other? Chris J down to the pistol, but he's stolen a Tech 9, and it will do the job for him. Mousesports go down to 1 man, but look at the money on the side. Yeah,
and the complaint that I just had about that B round from FaZe, they just did exactly the same thing, but 2A, where essentially they just don't show any presence anywhere. They just basically, it's like you know, you're playing a pug or something, like, okay guys, A split, or okay guys, B split. There's no default, there's no nothing branching into that play, essentially. So they're keeping it very basic, but they're able to get kills here because they're so good individually. And we're already going to find a trade as we get another fast mid take attempt, but Nex will shut things down right now. And FaZe kind of going into mid in dribs and drabs at this point. 2 men in there, or 3 rather. So they have their mid hold now, but the problem is that they lost 2 guys. This is definitely not ideal for FaZe, but they can save this round. It is definitely doable. And Rain's deciding to go and pressure into Highway. He wants to get that pick. He gets the pick here. That's brilliant. All right, so now we're going to have the response from Mousesports. Rotation is coming in. Rain commits and gets taken down by Nico. This is really bad right now, because if they wanted to take the bomb towards B, they can't do that now. So they're going to commit onto A. Nico there gets a perfect flash. And now Fox against 2. He is dead. Yeah.
Pretty monster performance so far from Mouse.
Oh, yeah.
Pretty monster indeed. So are we going to get the 13-2? We saw one yesterday. Will we see one today? FaZe, I don't know if 2 rounds is enough, Dan. Well,
yeah, absolutely.
To have any chance to even try to come back, let alone, you know.
I feel like the only problem for FaZe is just the strategy, that aspect of the game, and because I don't know, you know, they could very well have, that's a nice tag by the way in mid, but they could very well probably implement good strategic depth into their game, and the players could be capable of that. But I think they need the leadership or the structure to be put in there by a coach or something.
Well, they have Robban leading for them at the moment.
But because it's so basic right now, that's the thing. Like you can see how basic. Like if you compare what they're doing, it's like watching an old NIP basically, in that sense, to some extent. You'll see the basics, but then things get a bit awkward. But anyway, we'll get back into the round here. As we had that early kill from Chris J and another mid take from FaZe, the very delayed one. And once again, instead of Rain this time, AZ will be creeping up highway.
Sees the elbow. That's one of the changes in the figures now. Was that you see them draw their weapon because he drew his weapon out. You saw the elbow. So that change the change makes him spottable in a situation. And that little elbow will give FaZe now a man advantage. Although Nico could do a lot of damage here, coming in from the flank, and they have no idea where he is.
Oh, God.
There's 2 more of them. They surely realise now, but is it too late for them? Man advantage goes away to CTs. Tries to get the Molotov to slow down the plant, allow his teammates to rotate. Can't do it though. 2v2.
Yeah, that Molotov would have been really, really interesting to see how that would have played out. It would have been such a nice play. Nico 2 frags and a Molotov to delay instead of getting frag hungry. Very smart from Nico, although he will die anyway. So 2 versus 2 here as Mousesports coming. Chris J able to pick off Jacob as he peeks. And now Kiyoshima again in this situation, 1 versus 2. Oh, he's going to find the side of both players. There's the first frag, trying to spray down the second there. Spitty walking around the forklift, trying to get the frag, and he will get it. Kiyoshima dropped by a headshot there from Spitty. Nicely done indeed. And again, as I said earlier, it's very easy to talk about next Chris J and Nico, but Spitty and Dennis, I think they respectively have actually improved their individual game quite significantly, and they're always in the shadow of the 3 main names from the team.
Nico on a mere 22 frags in 15 rounds, of course.
Yeah, absolutely. He had a really strong first half for sure. I mean, in the first 6 rounds, he had 11 frags. So actually, James, he started to slow down a little bit. It's just a little bit, but yeah, that's obviously a really big result. And what was even more interesting is how much money he made from an SMG early on. Really, that has a really big impact on a map like this. Where
yeah, for the whole team, right?
Exactly. Yeah, he can drop. He's the bank of the team, so that's really cool. But this is the thing, right? Is that FaZe is one of those teams that can just lock down the CT side. Again, like it's a very different iteration of the team. As to the old one, where that really truly applied when you had Scream and so on. But let's see if they can do it. They just have to win this pistol. We got Rain on a CZ and a smoke, and the rest just there's no kit actually. And then Rain uses his smoke immediately, so it's not a retake smoke. Interesting, because they will play a retake. There's no retake smoke.
Are the squeaky guys gonna walk
it's
all
the
the way?
bottle.
Is it the bottle?
The bottle.
Is it the bottle? Is it the bottle?
They're doing the bottle. Is it though?
I don't think it is. Well,
5 guys.
They have a Molotov and a smoke.
So
but
it's gonna be all the mans.
Well, Nico's peaked, so I don't know why they're not just going into squeaky. I don't know why they're waiting for that smoke so they don't get shot from connector at least. It's interesting because I think it was Mouse who hard countered Luminosity's version of it, where they had a player just standing on a balcony shooting people as they came out squeaky.
All right.
So maybe their own strat made them a bit paranoid there, but they had a clean sight. AZ's coming in there with the 1-tap. Can he get any more? Just a 1 down for either side at the moment. Kishima coming around the side, but his teammates have been lost. Jacob finally gets a tap onto Spiddy, but Kishima's got 1 HP versus 3. So Jacob needs to come in there and help out. Dennis is just making life difficult for them, not allowing the CTs to join up, and he will come out at his own leisure, Dan, to pop the face.
Yeah, absolutely. Now it's going to get really difficult for FaZe, isn't it? I mean, they really need... The problem for this is that if FaZe end up losing from this position, which is obviously very possible because they only got 2 rounds, right? So we won't really get to see their CT side, which I think would be very interesting to see just because I think they're more CT-sided on this map. Either way, 3 umps for Mousesports so they can get all the nades in play. And that will be 3 Molotovs. So I'm very curious. It looks like they are going to go for, hopefully going to go for an anti-force spy kind of strat, this is the right round to do it, James, because FaZe are force spying every single round that is remaining in this match. Or this map, sorry.
Maybe this match as well.
Perhaps, yeah. We'll have to see.
That would be quite something, Dad.
Yeah.
Especially if it went 3 maps. Well, Molotovs are coming out, so Mousesports and Tico looks improved, but is it concise? There's still a smoke here, which is always a problem when your opponents are on a force buy or an eco. And they're kind of halfway to the side, but not quite. So the spray comes in, the CTs go down. We're looking at game point here for Mousesports, unless Fox and Kiyoshima go absolutely nuclear with the 5-7s. And these smokes will allow them to close the distance, actually, so they are a double-edged sword. Because obviously the closer these guns are, the more things like that will happen. It's down to Fox now, taking the pot shots, but really there's not much he can do.
Nice. And, you know, Mousesports have definitely been criticized for their poor anti-force buys in the past. I think a lot of teams have been. Not a lot of top teams, you know, in fairness, do it very well. Only a handful of them do, and Astralis and IP will be at the top 2 of that list. Those would be the ones to try to copy. Again, there's quite a few things I think from Mousesports that they need to fix in their game, and that was definitely one of them. So it's great to see that this round is a good reflection of any improvements in that sense that they would have made, because they went in there, they got the nades in place, the Molotovs, they forced the pistols out of the site. Even if they were playing close, Molotovs would help them out, and they survived with 3 players, which is fantastic. That's all you can ask for, and they can do. I mean, they might just. There's no reason why they shouldn't just do exactly the same round. Actually, if that's one of the most comfortable active force buys that they have, they don't need to do anything greater than that.
That's very true. I mean, look at what they're against, Scouts. So let's see what they can do on this on this next force buy, one of perhaps many, or maybe the last. We will find out. But AZ moving close towards main, and he will find 3 Ts in there actually. And he will get taken down. So you've got Rain rotating to the position, and the Ts should be weary until this smoke disappears. We've got Chris J just holding the back. I like the counter flash there, just in case. That was really good, but here is one from the CTs. Very good, well positioned. Again, they had Chris J holding the far angle while 2 players were close towards bot. So far, so good for Mouse. 2 CTs left, but really you can see there's not much to be done here. These are closing the distance. Maybe wanting to close the game out a little bit sooner. 4 versus 1. And this is surely a matter of time. Somebody land a shot. There we go. Dennis to the headshot Kishima. So